Muy buenas tardes amigos y compañeros, el día de hoy me presento, mi nombre es Luis Mercado y por parte del equipo de 3DMarket vamos a estar presentando lo que vendría siendo una pequeña introducción de lo que vendrían siendo los materiales nuevos que tenemos en la impresión de alta temperatura por parte del equipo INTAMSYS. El día de hoy se encuentran con nosotros el compañero Kenon Klein y el gerente Grant Lutinen. Nos acompañan desde la ciudad de Minneapolis. Grant, Klein, be very welcome. El día de hoy vamos a estar trabajando lo que vendría siendo pues una presentación de nuestros compañeros y presente Luis Mercado vamos a estar ayudando con lo que vendría siendo la traducción. Kenon Klein, from this moment forward, I'm going to be translating what you guys are saying. Do not worry and speak freely.
Great. So we're joined out of our Minneapolis facility today.
El día de hoy nos encontramos en la facultad de Minneapolis.
Myself, I'm a channel sales manager, Ken Kleinke, representing.
Soy el representante del canal de ventas, Ken Kleinke.
As well as the Mexico and Latin America channel.
Soy representante del canal de México y Latinoamérica.
We have Grant representing our technical team. He helps
Tenemos
with,
a Grant como representante de nuestro equipo técnico, nos va a apoyar con lo que vendría siendo la asistencia, soporte, así como entrenamiento y ventas internas.
Today we're going to give you a tour of our facility.
El día de hoy vamos a darle una pequeña tour a nuestra facultad.
We'll be running through the facility, looking at some of the insides and the specs of the
machines. Vamos a estar viendo lo que vendría siendo la parte interior e inspección de nuestras máquinas. Si llegan a tener preguntas,
feel free to let us know any questions that you have. I think at the end of the session we'll address questions and kind of go over any information that you guys are looking for. We'll have
Entonces, de hacer cualquier pregunta que puedan llegar a tener a lo largo de nuestra sesión y al final vamos a dar una pequeña sección para contestar todas sus preguntas.
Great. So with that being said, I think let's get the video started and we'll do the tour.
De hecho, vamos a comenzar nuestro video para que podamos ver nuestra pequeña introducción.
Welcome everybody today to the INTAMSYS company overview. Myself, Kenon Kleinke, is a channel sales manager with INTAMSYS. I'm joined by Grant Lutinen. He represents our technical team. We're joining 3DMarket with a webinar today to tour our additive manufacturing lab. We'll get started with some general information regarding INTAMSYS. As you see here, INTAMSYS stands for Intelligent Additive Manufacturing System. Our headquarters is based out of Shanghai. We were established in 2013. We do operate with two other facilities. Our first being the European headquarters in Stuttgart, Germany. Second, where Grant and I are located, is North American headquarters out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. As you'll see, we have 2,500 systems installed worldwide, really focusing not only on engineering grade materials, but really looking into some of the high performing materials, such as PEEK and some of the technology there. When we get into the introduction of technology, you'll see that the FunMat HT was the first additive technology to market under INTAMSYS. This was brought to the market in 2016. You'll see in the upcoming years that we have released several other machines. We will go through the details of some of these machines today. A few of these machines were developed but are no longer available to the market, but we continue to bring really new technology that the market is required or driving. We'll even release or show some information today about a new product coming to market in 2023. Taking a look at just our presence in terms of a regional map, as you'll see with the red annotations, those are our three divisions, being Shanghai as our corporate facility, Stuttgart our European facility, and Minnesota as our North American channel. We do have representation through our support channels such as 3DMarket. As you'll see, they cover a territory in Mexico and some of the other areas that we do support here in the North American channel as well. When we look at not only the logos, but really the industries that we represent, we really have a focus within the aerospace defense, the automotive, general manufacturing, and really looking at the education market. It really comes down to the array of materials. As we mentioned, we really focus not only on engineering grade, but getting into some of the high performing materials allows for applications into several of these industries. When we look at the INTAMSYS capabilities, the technology, and the software that drives everything, I think it's important to represent that we are an open material and open software platform. As you'll see, we work with several material manufacturers to not only create or define some of our core materials, but that's a continuous development, and we work with these partners to really introduce and work to bring new market materials to be available. when we look at the software, we do have INTAMSYS driven software. We define it as INTAMSUite, but again, this is really an open source or a really ease of use software that allows your team to have complete control, really the parameters needed or required that will drive your application. When we look at some of the material manufacturers, again, we really partner with some of the top quality filament manufacturers on the market. We have validated and we have INTAMSYS brand of materials that we do supply. But again, if there's third-party or other material options that you're looking for specific to your application, being an open source or an open material platform, we give you full control to go to the market and find the best material for your application. Here's just kind of a look at the overall product line of kind of where we are today. We started with that FunMat HT. We did get into kind of an intermediate industrial level. And then as you'll see at the larger scale unit that we do go to a full industrial unit. We will get into some of the specs and some of the details here today in terms of just the visual specs. In a little bit, we'll have Grant give a detailed overview as we do a tour of our additive lab. And we'll get into some more of the details or inside of the technology so you get a closer look. When we start with the FunMat HT, we really look at our desktop level. This is an industrial desktop printer. As you'll see with the chamber capabilities of up to 90 Celsius, that gives us the capabilities to start working into the high performing materials. As you will see, we have the capabilities of doing peak, PEC, as well as some of the carbon-filled, glass-filled peaks and additional materials. We do have some of the materials crossed out. We were attempting, or at one point we were running Ultim, but we really look at that full industrial 610 unit. We'll get into some more details there specifically to the Ultim material portfolio. Again, this goes into just some of the more basic kind of information regarding that FunMat HT. We will have these documents available for PDF within this webinar download. So look to the kind of sidebar for that information and you can obtain each of these documents to the FunMat HT, the 410, as well as the 610. This is our second, really our kind of lower level industrial grade unit. This is a dual extruding printer. So that gives you the ability to work with that main filament as well as a secondary support material. As you'll see, you have a little bit larger build volume with this. You have a included material chamber, and we'll get into some more details in terms of the capabilities here with the 410 machine. Again, this is an up to 90 C chamber temperature, so we can work with the same material portfolio as the FunMat HT, but we do have the availability to bring in support material as well as kind of work with kind of a dual material application if that is required as well. Lastly, for the available printers today, we have the FunMat Pro 610. This is a full industrial grade unit. Not only will it do the engineering grade materials, the high performing materials like PEEK, but as mentioned, we can do Ultim 9085 as well as Ultim 1010 and PPSU materials. This is a much larger unit in terms of not only the build volume, but the size of the machine, the capabilities of the machine. And really with the Ultim and the PPSU materials, as you'll see, this machine has an up to 300 C chamber environment. So really this allows the application to print not only the materials of Ultim, but as you'll see with the build volume and the scale that we can do a 24 by 20 by 20 application. So really this gives you not only the ability to look at some of the highest grade engineering materials, but we can really do things on a larger scale as well. This gives just a really good breakdown of some of, I think, the higher temp performing. Again, you'll see that chamber temp, but some of the extruder temp, really just the overall specs of this machine allow, again, larger builds, but working into the highest materials or the highest performing materials when we look at peaks, carbon-filled, glass-filled peaks, PEC, and then Ultim as a material as well. So that's going to finalize just really a basic coverage of the technology and INTAMSYS. I think, what we'll do now is get into a tour of our facility and give you a live look of what we have available, a better look at the machines, and give you just a closer understanding. If you have questions, use the chat. We'll address questions throughout this, or maybe at the end as we take questions in as well.
So first here, you'll see our FunMat HT. Like Ken was saying, this is our single extruder unit. It features a ceramic glass build plate, 10 by 10 by 10 build volume. You'll see the heated build chamber with dual heaters and fans there. Like Ken was saying, this machine can really do a whole bunch of materials. We can do PEEK, PEC, PEEK carbon fiber, PEEK glass fiber, really just not these Ulta materials. Here's a quick look at our extruder, high power cooling fans, well insulated design. And for an entry level unit, getting access to these high performance materials, this is kind of second to none entry level. Moving on, we'll go to a sneak peek of our Pro 310. This is our new desktop launching Q2 2023. Here we have a filament chamber with a molecular sieve. This is a desiccant filled, holds 2 1 kilogram spools. This keeps your material dry for up to 2 weeks. In the chamber here, you'll see we have a flexible build plate. This allows for large parts to be removed very easily. In the chamber, we have dual heaters. Each side of these heaters is actually going through a HEPA and carbon filter. What that means is this machine can sit right next to you on the desk and you can use it just fine. What you're looking at right now is actually called an IDEX. This is an IDEX machine. IDEX stands for Independent Dual Extruder. So each one of those extruders can move independently in copy mode, mirror mode, or regular dual extrusion mode. Moving on, we're going to take a look at a few of the parts that we've printed so far. We're going to start out, this is a beautiful PEEK carbon fiber part that we printed on our Pro 610. PEEK carbon fiber has a tensile strength similar to aluminum, and you can actually use this part up to 315 degrees Celsius. This is an air manifold part, super awesome application. Next, we're going to look at an Ultim 1010 part, again printed on our Pro 610. This is a mold slip. Because Ultim 1010 has a very high stiffness and can be used up to 200 degrees Celsius, you can use it for low temperature molding applications. Moving on to our next part, this is Ultim 985, again printed on the Pro 610. This is a railway control panel. For applications in railway, Ultim is really important because of a low flame, smoke, and toxicity rating. This part is PAEK. PAEK is a PEEK replacement part that has near isotropic properties, meaning we have almost as good tensile strength in Z as we do in X and Y. Moving on, this is a nylon 12 carbon fiber part printed on the Pro 410. We media blasted the outside to get this surface finish, but it prints gorgeous from the printer. This is a gauge housing that we printed out of ASA, again on the Pro 410. The cavity inside this gets filled with support material. Really wouldn't be able to be printed on a single extruder. These are just a few of the applications that we've taken on. With INTAMSYS equipment, you can really tackle whatever application you have for it. Moving on, we're going to chat a little bit about our Pro 410. Our Pro 410 is a dual extruder. We have a ceramic glass build plate again, 90C heated chamber, 160C heated build plate. This is really our workhorse machine these days. We print a whole bunch of peak carbon fiber in these machines. That, as you see there's the dual extruder with high-powered heaters, high-powered cooling fans, and then these are nozzle brushes and flickers with a purge bucket to keep your parts clean and coming out pretty from the get-go. Down below, you'll see our temperature and humidity controlled filament drawer, where we're actually keeping our material dry for extended periods of time to print larger parts. This is super important when we're printing materials like PEEK, PEC, PEEK CF, as well as nylons. Moving on here, you'll see some additional equipment that we have. So there's a 410 in a crate, but also we're having have some workspace for ongoing projects that we're working on. An additional 410 for training there, and then we're moving on to our 610. Our 610 here is a 4-bay system. This actually does allow us to do an automatic changeover. So when a spool runs out, it'll unload one spool, load the next spool, and resume the print without any human intervention. Super important when you're running jobs over the weekend or long jobs overnight, or even just finishing up the last bit of that spool. So you can see this is a very large machine. Inside, we're printing on a PC, or this is a sprayed steel sheet. This is for our high temperature applications like Ultim 9085. You'll see an advanced thermal design in here, as well as the same dual extruder that we're using on the Pro 610 or the Pro 410. We have thermal bellows to separate all of the electrical components from the rest of the printer. Again, we have tip wipes and brushes with a purge bucket to keep your parts clean for the long haul. Moving on here, we'll take a look at our post-processing lab. So this is where we do our annealing, our filament drying, support removal. This first oven you see here is actually a custom annealing oven that we built. It follows a curve. This is how we anneal our PEEK parts, our PEC parts. This is a filament dryer. One of the banes of FDM's existence is moisture material. Super important to have something to dry material. This is a support removal tank. So some of our support removal is water soluble. Dunk it in that tank, dissolves right away. And this is an additional filament drying oven and annealing oven. You don't need all of this equipment, but some of this equipment certainly helps, especially the filament drying oven. Last but not least, we'll take a quick sneak peek at our inventory and availability in the Americas office. We have our entire materials portfolio in stock in the Americas office here. That's model and support materials. And then moving on, we'll see our spare parts inventory for the HT, the 410, and the 610. So we really are prepared and set up to support anyone with any of their needs directly from the Americas. And we're very excited to be working with 3DMarket.
All right. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the tour of our facility. To reiterate, on the handouts tab on the left side, we do have,
para reiterar, en la parte de
that
recursos,
HT,
parte izquierda,
the
tenemos
410,
todo lo que vendrían siendo las opciones para la máquina 410, 610.
We also have information regarding the INTAMSYS material.
También tenemos un poco de información acerca de los materiales INTAMSYS para ustedes.
We did receive one question
Sí,
from the chat. If there are any
una
more
pregunta en el
questions,
chat. Si hay más preguntas, por favor,
first
siéntanse
question,
libres de ponerla. Primera pregunta.
how easy is it to configure a new material outside of the INTAMSYS ecosystem?
Yeah, so
Primera pregunta es: ¿qué tan fácil es configurar un material nuevo en el ecosistema INTAMSYS?
luckily the INTAMSYS systems are entirely open source.
Afortunadamente, los sistemas INTAMSYS son completamente de código abierto.
That are third party, not INTAMSYS branded materials. So it
Lo que significa que podemos aceptar materiales de terceras empresas sin ningún problema.
All right.
The next question is, which one of these printers can give me the best quality? I think they're talking about layer height, mainly.
Sure. So all of our printers are
Por
capable
supuesto, todas nuestras impresoras son capaces
of 0.25 millimeter nozzle
de imprimir hasta .025 por la boquilla.
height. So you should get similar quality on all of the printers.
En todas las impresoras que vimos el día de hoy deberían tener una calidad similar, puesto que nos enfocamos más que nada en el espacio y no tanto en la precisión. Todos los equipos tienen la misma precisión, pero el espacio de impresión suele ser mucho más grande.
And I would add on to that, if your application or if you have questions or would like to maybe explore your application within our material portfolio.
Si tienen una aplicación o quieren ver preguntas más que nada hablando directamente de las aplicaciones o usos que pueden dar ustedes, pues pueden hacer preguntas sin ningún problema sobre la tecnología que vamos a estar utilizando.
Looks like we maybe had another question come in.
Yes. How many years have you been inside the world of 3D printing, both you as technicians and engineers and as the company brand INTAMSYS?
Yeah, so prior to coming for INTAMSYS, I had
Antes de trabajar para INTAMSYS, yo estuve trabajando
FDM technical support
para otras empresas durante algunos años.
And then I have 1 year at INTAMSYS.
Y en este momento tengo un año trabajando de lleno con INTAMSYS, principalmente.
I have a 8-year background in CAD and CAM software as
Yo
well
tengo
as
8 años de trabajo en lo que vendría siendo material CAD y software al respecto, y pues también trabajando con INTAMSYS. We have another question. Could you tell us a little about how INTAMSYS starts as a company?
Yeah, so INTAMSYS really started with the Format HT.
INTAMSYS en realidad empezó con la máquina Format HT, principalmente enfocándose a material de impresión industrial.
I think we really looked at the market of high-performing polymers, representing across all of our technology of being able to print materials such as PEEK, but really focusing in on high-performing materials starting at a desktop level. But as you can see behind
nos
us,
enfocamos
growing
en lo que
into
vendrían siendo materiales de alta tensión o alta resistencia, y queríamos que fueran pues materiales directamente enfocados en ingeniería en industria. Empezamos con el material Format HT y queríamos guiarnos un poco más a lo que vendría siendo un enfoque de escritorio o de máquinas más pequeñas, más portables, que no fueran tan estorbosas.
Our technology was introduced out of Shanghai, China. Roughly about 2013, the Format HT entered that market. So we've
La tecnología comenzó en Shanghai, China, alrededor de 2013, y pues se ha estado exportando a lo que vendría siendo el resto del mundo.
Secondly, we grew into the European market. So we have
Hicimos hacia el mercado europeo.
in Stuttgart, Germany. So we've
Tuvimos
represented
la
that
habilidad
region
de
for roughly
instalarnos
about 5
en
years now.
Alemania, y tenemos 5 años en el mercado alemán hasta ahorita.
And then our North American office was established roughly 2 years ago.
Y nuestra oficina norteamericana comenzó a trabajar hace 2 años. Estamos metiendo cada vez más material aditivo y de información aditiva en nuestras oficinas. Queremos más capacidades, así como más soporte para nuestros vendedores y algunas de nuestras diferentes aplicaciones. We have another question. What materials would you recommend me to print medical prosthetics?
Medical prosthetics.
¿Médicas?
So for something that needs to be exceptionally strong and
Algo que necesita ser excepcionalmente fuerte.
carbon fiber or
Recomendaría fibra de carbono o en su defecto también un poco de PIC.
Both of those materials would allow you to print lightweight, highly rigid.
Ambos materiales te permitirían imprimir algo de peso muy pequeño y resistencia muy alta. Esa ya la contestamos, tienen 10 años. Y en total tenemos de experiencia conjunta alrededor de 10 años en la impresión 3D. They are asking the price point for the Format Pro 410, if you could share that with us.
Yeah, so we do have some unique pricing or available pricing for our market in
Tenemos algunos
Mexico.
precios personalizados para nuestro mercado en México.
I'll probably leave that up to 3DMarket to provide some pricing, or you can reach out to them directly. We do
Lo
have
dejaremos en las manos de 3DMarket de proveer precio
promotions
o
at the
pueden
end
acceder a ellos
of the year.
directamente.
So we do have some
Al final
unique
del año
pricing
vamos a estar lanzando más
as well
equipos
as some
con unos
bundle
diferentes precios
incentives that include a
y queremos
starter
comenzar a
kit
vender lo que
and
vendrían
into
siendo
any of our
paquetes y
technology.
varias máquinas dentro de un solo paquete. Como pequeño comentario me comentan que el precio que tenemos es de 513,153 pesos más IVA a contado. ¿Tenemos más preguntas? Oh, it seems like these would be all the questions. Oh, wait, we have one question left. For materials inside INTAMSYS, do you provide post-process recommendations such as annealing profiles?
Yeah, so we do have an annealing guide currently.
Sí, tenemos una guía de anilado.
It's pretty straightforward. Really, it's just a matter of putting the peak materials in.
Es bastante simple, más que nada tenemos que meter el material PIC y seleccionar el perfil adecuado para poder hacer el annealing. Okay, perfect. And what would be the most general use for material for fixturing?
I would say
En español preguntan cuál sería el mejor material para monturas.
fixturing is a really good choice.
En realidad diría que no es muy buena aplicación para lo que vendrían siendo monturas debido a las deficiencias que suele tener la manufactura aditiva en primer lugar. Perfecto.
Yeah, maybe make one last comment. I think, within every application, each
Como
will have
último
maybe some
comentario quiero decir que en casi todas las
you can actually
aplicaciones
explore or evaluate your
nos
application,
gustaría explorar y evaluar sus aplicaciones,
getting you a printed part in hand, maybe a couple
ofrecerles piezas ya impresas o
how
piezas ya
you
unificadas para que las puedan
evaluate
observar,
or put into a test environment so that
para
you
que
can,
potencialmente puedan tener
truly
piezas
understand and
ligeras y ponerlas
evaluate
en
what
un
the capabilities
sistema
are
ya en vivo o probarlo,
within your application.
y que quisiéramos poder proveerles piezas para que puedan observar directamente en sus aplicaciones. We have another question. The drying stations are compatible with other printers, or are they like fully independent, or can they only work with INTAMSYS systems?
With the drying system for the 310.
Yeah, yes, I think that's the
Yep.
nature of the question.
So the filament drying system for the 310
El
is
sistema de secado de filamento de la 310
intended to go with the 310.
tiende a venir con la impresora,
Do the 310.
pero sí puede ser utilizado con otro tipo de materiales.
And I would reiterate, our 410 has that separate material bay as well as the
Ahora
6.
cabe enfatizar que nuestro equipo 410, así como el equipo grande que se encuentra atrás de mí, tiene un sistema completamente separado y externo a la impresora de secado, y también es compatible con otro tipo de equipos. Perfect. Well, I think that we don't have any more questions. So, thank you very much for attending and answering our questions. Le agradezco mucho a nuestros invitados por lo que vendrían siendo sus respuestas y su atención el día de hoy. Nuevamente, nuestro nombre fue 3DMarket. Toda la información que tuvimos el día de hoy se encuentra disponible en nuestra página web. All of the information we presented today is perfectly available in our web page. Vamos a estar añadiendo lo que vendría siendo el video subtitulado. We're gonna be adding the subtitle video, so it's in reach for everyone to see, para que esté disponible a todos para observarlo. Y bueno, por el momento me despediría de mi compañero. So, by the time being, we're gonna say goodbye to the team at INTAMSYS. We thank you very much for the attention. Nos despediríamos nosotros también aquí en México y pues le agradecemos muchísimo a todos ustedes su atención.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Muchas gracias, hasta luego.